Hello.
Going up.
My name is Endeavorance. You wouldn't know it, though, because the only thing that's happening in this room is a dog needing a treat, and I'm getting booped, and I'm literally getting sneezed on. I'm trying to do my intro, and I'm getting sneezed on by a dog. Let's give the dog a treat so I can do it, so I can do the intro, because I want to show you my really good hat. This is, God, I just dug this up. This is like an old prop. Let's give the dog a treat. He's destroying everything. Hold on. Okay. Thanks for the bits. Treat has been gived. Treat has been gived. There's so much happening already. I have like barely gotten a chance to even see what's going on, and y'all are like donating gifted subs and cheering bits, and we've got a hype train going on Twitch, and we've got folks coming in on YouTube, and we've got people in the own cast. Y'all are everywhere, and thank you for being here. What's up? How's it going? My name is Endeavorance. It is Wednesday, October, I want to say like 20th, 15th, 5 days off. Oh my God. It's really bad right now. And also a year. There's a year in there somewhere. It is indeed puppy time. Cat fave bag. It is indeed puppy time. Thanks for clarifying, because everyone needs to know that it is indeed puppy time. Mo says, I miss when we could regularly break you before the stream even started. Yeah, that was a lot. I used to not be able to even like talk because there was just gifts rolling in, and like, thank you, but god damn. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? Hopefully everything's fine. Is the audio okay? Is the audio and video okay? I did a whole bunch of tweaking to just like stream encoding settings yesterday to try to make sure that things are like working properly. So I hope everything is fine, and I hope everything's not terrible also, simultaneously. Those are the two things that I hope for in this world. Sound and look is good, says Jack-o'-lantern. Okay, great. Wonderful. Thanks for making it, Endev. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Cyan Mentality. I like a good Cyan Mentality. Let me tell you. Audio is great. Good. Yeah, I spent a lot of time yesterday just like going back and forth between a million different settings on my camera, on my computer. I also just paused my stream preview at a really good face. So I'm going to go ahead and just crop that and save that file real quick, like, because this is where I that's where I paused my preview, which is genuinely, I feel like I could just have this still of me sitting on top of me, and like no one would notice the difference. Look, if I just let's see if can I get this like lined up properly? Just line that up. Yeah, see, you would never know. It's I'm not actually here. I'm a VTuber now, but my V is myself. What was I saying? I was saying something before I stopped myself. Streaming encoding stuff. Yeah, I changed my camera settings, my computer settings, the things I was plugged into, my lighting, my stream, everything. I hope everything's fine. Seems like it's fine. Something about encoding settings. Yeah. So if you are on Owncast at live.endeavorance.tv and you are watching at the highest quality, it should be pretty fucking high quality. It should be like source quality, streaming at like at least 6 megabits per second, and pretty high quality. I'm also curious for anybody who's watching over on live.endeavorance.tv, how, if it's like a stable stream or not, because I reduced the latency which hopefully will fix some of the like very much tons of latency that was over there. But it might also break everything. So I'm a hydrate. So good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Can we get a vibe check? Can we get a vibe check on a scale of...
Thanks for the...
On a scale of vibe to check. How we're doing. And while y'all do your vibe check in, I'm going to call out the folks who have followed and subscribed, because it's a lot out of nowhere. Herbal Tonic, thank you for the follow on Twitch. AZ Cirillo, thank you for the follow. Fire Drops donated resubbed at 6 months. Ice Cream Socialist gifted 5 subs. Jack Dack Sage subbed for 15 months. Epic Failure gave out 5 gifted subs. And then cheering from Nitro Nick and Ice Cream Socialist, and do a Cara roll subbed with Prime. Lots of stuff. Just so many things. So many things. Yo, driving license. Says B-Burb 420. Did you get a driver's license? Did you get a driver's license? Are you able to drive car now? Breathing, taco sauce check. Like the stream, I just remembered. Oh, is that a thing? Is that a thing? Should I tell people to like the stream on YouTube? Is it like a thing that you do on YouTube? Here's the thing. I don't know how to be a content creator. I'm so bad at this. I'm really bad at shilling my own stuff, and I'm really bad at like reminding people to do engagement, because I hate it. Starling, right? As a viewer, I know how much I... Ooh, that's a lot of dice. Inky with 21 months. Curb... Oh. Got one exploded. What are we gonna get? Boom. 213. I know that when I'm like watching content and someone's like taking a very long time to shill something at me, I'm just like, this cannot end soon enough. Which is why my stuff keeps happening. Like self promo segments are like 20 seconds at longest. Greetings, sir. Greetings from Owncast. Hello, hello, hello. Vibe forever EP. God, I feel that so goddamn hard, Fire. I very, very, very much do. Fraser Watson says, on a scale of vibe to check, probably feeling a 6. I have 18 stream streak. If you break it, I unsub /J. Well, never break it, I guess. Watch me forever. Obviously, that's the only option. Names. That's a lot of dice. It happens. So whenever people subscribe, my stream is set up so that when people subscribe, it rolls 1 die per month that they've been subscribed. So when you subscribe, it's 1. When you resub for the second month, that's 2, and so on and so forth. And then also 1 die for every gifted subscription. And that just kind of goes into a mini game that's like down at the bottom of the screen. I'm working on another mini game, but right now it just makes number go up. But we like number going up. Oh, that's what Chiron does. Oh, yeah. You can make a little breaking news thing. Yeah, those are called Chirons, by the way. For those who didn't know, if you ever see like a breaking news like banner at the bottom of a screen on like a news channel or something, that's called a Chiron. Who knew? I mean, I did, and probably a lot of people, but still. Inky with the 21 months is so wild. Oh! What are we doing? We wiggling? Oh, we wiggling. Oh, we're wiggling. Oh, we're wiggling. Amazing.
What is it? Getting bit.
Getting bit. This is why I get up in the morning, to see the dog rolling around and flailing. That's like half the purpose of my stream. Oh, now he's off on an adventure. Where are you going, bud? You going on an adventure? I think he's going on an adventure to his bed. Oh, now he's got anxiety. Now he's got performance anxiety. Oh, no. And he walked away. He was like, nope. Now I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do what you think I'm going to do. You think I'm going to get in my bed? I ain't doing that. I'm not your play toy.
Thanks for the bits.
Is the boy stinky? Is the boy stinky? Let's find out.
Are you stinky? You stinky boy. You a stinky boy. Oh, you stinky boy. I can confirm he's a little stinky. He's a little stinker, and he could use a bath.
Going up. Don't tell anyone he's getting a second treat today. Okay. Don't tell anyone he got a second treat. That's against the law. I'm not allowed to do that. But we did it anyway. Let's ride the roller coaster. I want to sit. Please keep your hands, feet, ears, eyes, and additional dog treats inside the vehicle at all times as we ride the roller coaster. Where are you now? Now he's under the table. What are you doing, dog? All right. Here we go. This is where he's at now. So, sort of behind some cables, under the desk, just causing a ruckus. And now he's off again. He's like, stop pointing the camera at me. God, he's busy today. My goodness. You're really brave for showing your cable management. It's not great. I keep trying to make it better, and it keeps getting worse. It's so obnoxious because the second that you have to like have more than a laptop, it's just like, no, this is not gonna work. I've got zip ties, I've got Velcro, I've got stuff, but my goodness, it doesn't matter. Ugh. Because I've got like lights, I've got multiple machines, I've got like my just too many goddamn plugs. And I am even using like cable management stuff and a what's it called? A power strip that's like attached to the underside of my desk. So like that's all plugged in. It would be so much worse if I wasn't at least doing those things. Endless twist ties. I just don't know. I need to figure out an orientation of all of my stuff that doesn't like suck. It's not particularly a great setup right now in terms of just like the positioning of things. Scotticus says, if you own and don't rent, poke a hole in the wall and put your wires through there. I would do that. It's not a matter of not having the like right to do that. It's a matter of not having the energy to do that. I remember when I first got the house that I'm in, I was like, I'm going to absolutely wire up my house with Cat 7 or Cat 6 or something. Like I'm going to put Ethernet all throughout my house. I never did that. Not even sort of. Not even kind of. That's so much effort and I don't feel like it. So I tried instead using the Ethernet over power. Did you know this is a thing for people who are not like networking tech nerds, did you know, like an Ethernet port, right? Like the internet, the cable port, you plug it in, you get the internet, they make a thing that is a thing that you plug into an electrical outlet, and you plug your router into that. And then you plug another thing into a different electrical outlet and plug a cable into that. And that is your data. Do you mean power over Ethernet? I mean Ethernet over power. So it's a thing that uses the plug with the incoming data. So like you've got a plug that goes to your router and a plug that goes to your computer, and those both plug in to wall outlets. And what it does is it takes the data that it needs to transfer, and it converts the data from Ethernet wire to tiny modulations in the electricity in your house's just like electrical wiring. So it creates these tiny, tiny variations that don't disrupt anything, but are measurable. And then you have an outlet that reads those tiny fluctuations and converts it back into data. And so you can essentially have an Ethernet connection between any two places where you have a power outlet in your house. And that includes this. I was told this wouldn't work, but it did. That includes going across sub panels. So the space that I'm in right now has its own electrical sub panel, and I was able to go from my main panel to out here using Ethernet over power. That's wild. That's so cool. The throughput's not particularly good, though, I will say. I have a gigabit connection, and I got like 10 megs down by the time it got to my actual computer. So I am instead using a mesh network now. Isn't that faster? I heard it was faster. Not really. I mean, maybe under ideal conditions, but I feel like just having wired Ethernet ports is a better option. Science is just magic. It teeters on magic. It teeters on magic when they have the concept of encoding data into things that we don't think about. There's another example that's also really fucking cool on the topic of like encoding data into cool shit. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Li-Fi. So this is another example of encoding data over something that's not just a wire. It encodes it's Wi-Fi over light. Li-Fi. So Li-Fi, commonly referred to as Li-Fi, is a wireless communication technology which utilizes light to transmit data and position between devices. It's a light communication system that is capable of transmitting data at high speeds over visible light, ultraviolet, and infrared spectrums. In terms of its end user, it's similar to Wi-Fi, the key difference being that Wi-Fi uses radio to induce electric tension in an antenna, whereas Li-Fi uses modulation of light intensity to transmit data. So, like, it lets you just be in a room, and that room can have light that is transmitting data by imperceptibly modulating its brightness, and then a thing reads that. It's kind of a similar concept. That's so sick. That's so dope. It's not as effective as Wi-Fi, which can like go through walls. Obviously, if you're using like a visible light spectrum and you're on the other side of a wall, you're not going to be getting the Wi-Fi. So this isn't going to help you stream Netflix in bed at night, but it is like another example of how to deploy the ability to transmit data. There's really, really cool and terrifying work done in the realm of like, how can we find interesting ways to transmit data? You may have come across this on your phone before, but some like obscure apps do this. There's a thing where they'll do encoding via audio, which is like what dial-up was basically. But I've done a thing before where it's like everybody pull out your phones, and we all have to connect to the room that we're all in together for a meeting, and it's going to be some sort of like interactive vote thing or whatever. And there are some apps that your app or your phone can enable the microphone to listen to an imperceptible bit of audio that a speaker is playing, and that can transmit a code and automatically connect you. So like that's a thing, like encoding via imperceptible audio wave. It's just, there's so much cool shit there. It's also terrifying because there's a non-zero amount of research that goes into trying to solve the question, how can we remotely see what people are doing with their computer by tuning into the radio waves or the frequencies that are being off-put by the computer's CPU. So like the idea being, your computer's CPU is an electric unit. It is off-putting some amount of energy that could be potentially measurable. Can we measure it remotely and snoop on what someone's doing on their machine? So that's a thing too. That's not like you can't go to the store and buy a computer snooper. That's not really a thing. But I'm sure that like the highest level spy agencies are really trying to make that work. Technology has become terrifying. It really has. It really has. It's kind of a lot. It's also, I'm really, really annoyed recently by the level of deference that we apparently have to show all tech bros. As a former tech bro adjacent person, I really want to believe I was never fully tech bro, although I probably was at some point. But as someone who spent a lot of time like hanging out in tech bro spaces and having that be my career, there's no reason to essentially just say, hey, yeah, all tech bros are allowed to just like dictate our future. But that's what we have now. So we're now living in a world where like Sam Altman just talked about, he like just posted a thing about how OpenAI will like sext with you, and they're gonna like bring back letting the AI act as like your friend and mentor and shit. OpenAI update, adult chat, like Father help. ChatGPT will soon allow erotica for verified adults, so that doesn't bug me as much. Like, it's not the erotica for verified adults part. I don't care about that. It's the, we know this is a problem already, and we're going to make it so much worse. Like, they know that people having an unhealthy emotional dependency on ChatGPT is already a problem. They're claiming that they've already solved that somehow, and that they're going to just go back to doing the thing that caused that problem. So let's see. In a post on Twitter on Tuesday, Altman said upcoming versions of the popular chatbot would enable it to behave in a more human-like way, but only if you want it, not because we are usage maxing. I'm so tired, y'all. I'm so fucking tired. Why is the CEO of a company that's so overinflated that it's causing multiple banks to warn that we're in a bubble saying usage maxing? Anyway, they had previously made ChatGPT, quote, pretty restrictive to make sure we were being careful with mental health issues. We realized this made it less useful / enjoyable to many users who had no mental health problems, but given the seriousness of the issues, we wanted to get it right. He goes on to say, I don't really feel like opening up Twitter right now, but he goes on to say that they've solved those problems, and so they're going to go back to letting people be like, hey, ChatGPT, pretend that you're my girlfriend. And that's really unfortunate because the problems have not been solved, even kind of. Oh, dog's in his bed. Hold on. Praise! Croissant time. Yeah, it's not fixed. So ChatGPT is really, really not okay. It has a problem of always trying to gas people up, and that's a problem. People are not supposed to be told that they are right all the time, and they're not supposed to be told that like they're smart and doing perfect constantly. That's how we end up with exactly the problem that we have of tech bros who have been told their entire life that they're special and smart and the most important people in the room, and then they produce a giant misinformation machine that destroys the human psyche, and they're like, oh well, you know, it's an inevitability, this is the direction of humanity. And then when people are like, why is this the direction of humanity? No one asked for this. A few years ago, nobody was like, you know, the only thing that could make life better right now is a more realistic chatbot that can also produce deepfake porn of people I want to get revenge on. That's what I need right now. And also, if it could do a ton of copyright infringement, that would make it so much better. And like, no one wanted that. Now we're here. It's the kind of thing where like they made a thing that seemed interesting and released it, told everybody that this is super important because everybody had that moment. A bunch of people had that wow moment, like once or twice with ChatGPT, where they're like, well, the cool program, I asked it to write a poem about broccoli and it did, and I chortled. And so now I have to believe that the future is AI. And so it's like, what? Like, I don't understand what they're even trying to get at here. And I don't understand why we have to just like completely pretend that this is normal and that this is going to be how the future is from now on forever, because some tech bros were like, we want to make some money. And if you go against it, you just get like weird, angry people who are like, oh, you're being a Luddite. You're being terrible. I don't understand. If you push back at all against like AI stuff, the people who come out of the woodwork to tell you that like you are wrong because clearly you just don't understand it. When in reality, it's like, no, I do understand it. I understand why I don't like what it's doing. It's not even that AI, like, and I want to be very clear, when I'm saying AI, I'm referring to the current iteration of large language models. Obviously, they're not actually artificially intelligent, and I don't like that I'm calling it AI, but it's so much easier to just say AI, even though that's also lending credence to them having already made it so that that's the term that people are using for a thing that's not actually AI. It's a marketing tactic, but I digress. I understand what AI is doing, and I understand the like benefits and drawbacks in an abstract reality, right? You know, get rid of all morality, all external impacts, everything. In an abstract vacuum, I understand what these things are. I also understand who is pushing them and who stands to gain the most from them. I also understand that a tech company putting out a product that has basically no security guardrails and then making a huge claim that this is an anthropological shift, and then going as far as to say, also, this is dangerous to the world, to the point that we need to be involved at the level of government. Like, these private companies need to be security contractors now because AI is, according to these people who are the ones selling the AI is so important that it's a national security concern. But it's also a national security concern because it's just a bullshit product they put out with no guardrails and no real purpose to try to make as much money as they can, because sometimes people saw a poem about broccoli that they chortled at. And so, like, why are we here? Like, why are we now in a place where people are losing their jobs because companies are trying to replace them with AI, but then also after that's happening, these companies are learning that AI is not really replacing the jobs all that well. Like the vast majority of companies that have tried to implement an AI first policy have reported that there hasn't been an improvement in productivity. And so we're just laying people off, replacing them with slop. And then what? Less money? Less money in our pockets so that we can't buy the things that are trying to sell? Who? What? Huh. It's it is a hilarious self-encapsulated portrait of capitalism, like late stage capitalism, because these companies are trying to optimize humans out of the economy. And this is what happens when you have people who, again, have been told their entire life, and I'm speaking from experience. I was a sailing through life tech bro kind of guy. I was constantly told that I was so smart. I was constantly told that I'm so good at this and that I'm going to go far in life or whatever. And when you have a computer and an internet connection and you know how to use those to do things that make an impact on the world in some way, it does feel like a superpower. So you have a bunch of dudes walking around being told that they're essentially gods. And then they're being told, like, you can do no wrong. And also, like, because you are smart, it must be because you figured out how life works. And so all of them have an obsession with optimization and first principles. So tech pros have this, like, innate desire to optimize everything regardless of what that means. And they see humans as an unoptimizable side effect. So, like, humans are messy. Systems are not messy. Humans mixed with systems is a mess. How do we get rid of the human part of things? And now we've got people like Peter Thiel talking about transhumanism and the Antichrist and like uploading our consciousness to a server, when again, I kind of want to just have a barbecue with my friends. My plan for this life was to have some income, buy some food, play a few board games. I wasn't planning on uploading my consciousness to a cloud computer run by Oracle. That's not what I was planning on. But apparently the tech bros have spoken, and now that's the future of humanity. So I'm just like so fucking tired of these people who I know are not as smart as they think they are. They're good at programming sometimes, but that doesn't mean that you're good at solving all of the problems. It's the same thing as when a well-meaning programmer will frequently get involved in like activism, and they'll try to like build something for activists, and what they produce is not useful or even dangerous because they don't have the context around activism. They don't have the experience around activism. A software developer is going to see software as a hammer and everything as a nail. But like, because there's not really much that they can not do, they can just set their mind to something and just start building things. There's very little in the way of stopping and being like, wait, am I a subject matter expert on this? Like, should I be building this? Or should I defer to somebody else who actually knows what they're talking about? But that's not what people want to do. Have a hamburger or maybe a hot dog? Wait. Who's having a hamburger and or a hot dog? So we all have to embrace the techno undeath. I really don't want to have to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to live forever. I don't want to upload my consciousness. I don't have this innate desire of self-preservation for all eternity. And welcome in, Gilded Dragon. Hello, hello. But that's just like how they think. And that's why all of the, like every fucking tech oligarch has some eternal life research side project. I remember I was at Google when Larry Page came down with like a really, really debilitating illness that like fucked up his throat and ruined his ability to speak. If you haven't, if you don't know who Larry Page is, he's one of the founders of Google. And if you haven't heard from him, it's likely because he doesn't talk a whole lot, because his voice got destroyed by like an illness. And that immediately had him turn around and make like an eternal life in a research firm. Like a how do we extend the human lifespan research firm. Peter Thiel has been injecting himself with the blood of the young. I'm going to say that again. Peter Thiel injects himself with the blood of the young. Like Peter Thiel blood injects. Searching. Peter Thiel is very, very interested in young people's blood. This man wants your blood. More than anything, Peter Thiel, the billionaire technology investor and Donald Trump supporter, wants to find a way to escape death. He's channeled millions of dollars into startups working on anti-aging medicine, spends considerable time and money researching therapies for personal use, and believes society ought to open its mind to life extension methods that sound weird or unsavory. This guy is one of the richest people in the world and a direct line to the President of the United States. Speaking of weird and unsavory, if there's one thing that really excites Thiel, it's the prospect of having younger people's blood transfused into his own veins. This practice, known as parabiosis, and according to Thiel, it's a potential biological fountain of youth, the closest thing science has discovered to an anti-aging panacea. So, like, you get to the point where you have more money than anyone could ever do anything with ever. And you're like, well, I guess I harvest blood now. Like, he's a literal lich. What in the fuck? How does this happen? People wonder how we have like dragons protecting their hordes of gold and terrorizing all of the civilians. Where did this mythology come from? Oh, what an abstract concept. Lupus says, I don't understand why everyone is so scared of aging. That's just part of life, and we live so much longer that we're used to it already. Why would you want to live even longer? Mostly it's because it's the same. It's because you are fundamentally not the kind of person that is that person. Capitalism is a problem because it optimizes for the worst people being lifted up to the highest levels of power. The more selfish you are, the more aggressive you are at hoarding wealth, the more you're willing to throw away your morals to screw over anyone and everything along the way on your path to amassing a fortune, the better you will do. That is just how it works. Those people will have a propensity to want to live forever because they believe themselves to be essentially perfect, but also it's the same driving force that drove them to amass fortune to begin with. They are terrified of death, and they want to do everything that they can to stave it off. And the easiest way they can think to do that is to live amorally, aggregate as much money as possible, and harvest people's blood. It's the same driving force. It's the same as like people saying, oh, why don't billionaires just give away their money and make the world better? Because they wouldn't be billionaires if that's what they were doing. They're billionaires because they're bad people. There are no good billionaires. Like this is that whole thing. Like that's not a hot take. Like to be a billionaire is to be unethical. But like really, really, really internalize that. If you are a billionaire, you are inherently unethical. You did not get there by being an ethical person. If you were an ethical person, you would not have billions of dollars sitting around. That would be immediately going back into funding a better world, not being hoarded for your own personal gain. And what's worse is the people who are like, I'm a philanthropist, so my job is to grow my money as much as possible so I can give money out. Fuck you. How about you give your money to the people that you're keeping it from and then selectively doling it back out? How about that money is just in the hands of the people who need it to begin with? If your job is to hoard as much money as possible so that you are the one who chooses who gets the money, you're not a philanthropist. You're just an asshole. You're just a problem. You're just the reason that we are in this mess to begin with. Anyway, I'm gonna take a sip of water. How's everybody doing? We doing good? What was I talking about? Exploit the commons versus fund the commons. Yeah, like we need philanthropy and charity because our society is horrifically busted. Like, our society does not value getting resources to the people who need it. And because of that, we have income inequality, we have billionaires, and we have hunger. We have children going to bed hungry in what is supposed to be the most stable, richest, most powerful nation on the face of the planet. But we have children going hungry at night, and that is unacceptable. That is insane. The fact that we could have a single billionaire while people go hungry in 2025 is gross. A lot of people have a hard time conceptualizing a world that doesn't have that hierarchical structure. In the US, people are taught essentially from birth that money equals success. And the more money you have, the more successful you are, and you're going to get haters purely because you're successful and they're just jealous. There's so much propaganda that goes towards naysaying people who devalue the concept of money. If people are saying like, yeah, money is fine, I would like enough of it to live, but I don't care to amass as much as possible, they're called crazy. Like they're called an idiot. And it's because so many people don't even have the room to think about anything else than how do I get enough money to be stable, that becomes the only thing that they think about. And so I think that's why you get the people who are like really, really, really poor in their own right getting upset when people are like, fuck billionaires. You know, obviously the like more high-minded route there is to realize I'm not a billionaire. My situation is made worse because there are billionaires hoarding funds and lobbying against my interests. But instead, they don't really have the luxury to think that abstractly. They're instead just saying what they hear is this person saying, fuck people who want to get money. And a person who wants money because they don't have it currently is going to feel threatened by that. They're not going to think, oh, this person is on my side. They're going to think this person wants to cut off my my potential future of having more money. And that scares them. So like that's why people get so defensive about that. Work to live, baby. It's very unacceptable, I agree. Yeah, children going to bed hungry in this country is not a thing that I think I'll ever really understand. I mean, I understand it, obviously. I don't think I'll ever accept it. Gildan Dragon says, I just want to live is becoming less and less viable in this country. And that's what fucking pisses me off about all, I'm just talking about all the things that make me angry today. I'm very sorry about that. But it pisses me off how much people on the right, and I'm talking about like elected officials, obviously like voters or whatever, but I'm talking about elected officials here, aren't letting people just fucking live. Like they're trying to do this thing where they're turning this concept that they're pushing back against culture war, right? They're like, oh, we're pushing back against the culture war. in reality, they're just establishing more cultural rules. Like they want everyone to follow their specific cultural rules, which is why they want to do a white Christian ethno state. But like what they're saying is, Nancy Pelosi is forcing me to be trans, and therefore we're going to go very hard in the other direction. And people aren't allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. You have to live within our rule set. Anyway, anyone who pushes back on this is playing political games. God, there's that thing with Kristi Noem video airports. So Kristi Noem made a video doing the thing that all of the government outlets are doing right now, where they're saying like they're using official government facilities to be like, oh, the Democrats shut down the government, blah, 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 blah. There is a list of airports refusing to show a video that Kristi Noem recorded saying exactly that. Let's see. Yeah, okay. In the video, it's just Kristi Noem. They want to play this video on loop at airports. It is the head of the Department of Homeland Security talking to the camera saying Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government. Because of this, many of our operations are impacted and most of our TSA employees are working without pay. Our hope is that Democrats will soon recognize the importance of opening the government. So she made a video, just like they want to play a video by a government official in every airport in which the government official says, hello, citizens. I am here to tell you that my political enemy is the one that's at fault here. I am stating this as fact, as an authority figure. Now play this on loop at all the airports. It's fucking insane. It's truly crazy because like this is the kind of thing that a lot of people on the right, a lot of influencers on the right, a lot of politicians on the right have been claiming that the left has been doing. I want to be super clear that like the left in the US, which is generally referring to Democrats who are not the left, doesn't do shit. They're boring. They don't do anything. All of the concept of like, oh, they're transing the kids. They're forcing gay rights on everyone. No, they're not. They're barely encoding it into law. But that doesn't matter. The fact that they're barely encoding it into law is enough. And they jump on that to rile up racists to get more votes for Republicans. So like it's literally just trying to steer people towards being mad at minorities. And like they want to have absolute impunity to do the exact things that they said that the other party is doing. And like we knew this was going to happen. Like we know that hypocrisy doesn't matter here because like we know that that's their whole fucking game. But to spend years supporting Donald fucking Trump of all people on the goddamn planet while claiming that the Democrats, led by Nancy Pelosi, at least at the time, did anything remotely this level of dystopian. Even if you ignore literally everything else that has happened in this entire administration and just took this creepy ass Kristi Noem video in which a member of the president's cabinet wants to have airports across the country play a propaganda video in which she blames specific political figures. That in and of itself is insane. Like that is already far and beyond anything the Democrats have done. I wish that they had the audacity to even come up with an idea like that. They wouldn't do it, but they would at least be thinking outside the fucking box. Unfortunately for us, the only party that might do something at all are the Democrats. And as far as thinking outside the box goes, they're still stuck in fucking 2 dimensions. They need to think outside the square before they can even begin to conceptualize a 3-dimensional object like a box. It's not a good place to be. Hello, OKSAF, what's up? No big party there is left, not by the standards of the rest of the world. Do they mean people who disagree with them? Because that's not really the same. Even people on their side disagree with them. So the US has 2 major political parties. We have Democrats and Republicans. There are other parties, but they essentially don't matter beyond the local level. At the scale of federal elections, the Democrats and Republicans, like their spending on advertising and like just political infrastructure in general is orders of magnitude higher than any third party. So like it's just not really a thing. Because of the nature of our voting system, which is first past the post, it's incredibly difficult to win as a third party candidate. So we have two parties, Democrats and Republicans. The core of the Republican Party right now is Trumpism. It's MAGA. It's being as intensely, aggressively anti-democrat as you can possibly be. That is the entirety of their platform. They don't really have policy aside from that. Ostensibly, their policy is cut spending, but they've already done their spending bill, which dramatically increased spending. So like that's already gone. And otherwise tariffs, I guess, but like their own people don't like the tariffs. Like Trump is still doing the tariff stuff. If you look at any conservative message board, they're all like, yeah, no, I'm not loving the tariffs, actually. Maybe we can stop with that at some point. It's always funny. You go and look at like a conservative message board and you'll see people being like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of his foreign policy or his domestic policy or what he's doing with the market or the economy or all the healthcare setbacks or, you know, the defunding of science, all this stuff. I don't love all that. I don't love how he's like super aggressive and how he's, using the Department of Justice to go after his political enemies. And I don't love how brazen he is and how he's constantly insulting people and doesn't seem to really take anything. He just spews stuff. I don't really love any of that. But at least he's making immigrants sad. So this is what I voted for. Like that is pretty much where they're at right now. And I don't think that making immigrants sad is going to keep them satisfied for the next 3 years. Kind of tired of calling it Trumpism. It's fascism. Can we just call it fascism? So it's interesting because it's a little different. Like I think it's the kind of thing where it's like, we are a democracy, technically, maybe, still kind of. But, you know, we're technically a democratic republic, right? We are a representative republic, which is a type of democracy. Trumpism is, I think the reason that term exists is because it sort of like accidentally fell into place and then was leveraged by people and molded into a form of fascism. So like, I saw a really compelling thing recently. I don't remember where this came from, but I did not originate this idea, so credit to whoever posted this originally. But I saw a really compelling argument recently that is sort of in this same vein. That basically says, you know, on the topic of are MAGA the new Nazis? I saw an argument that basically said no, not really, but in due time, history will look upon MAGA in the same way that they look upon Nazis. And so like, yeah, you can call them Nazis and we understand what people mean by that, right? If you're the kind of person that's going to take offense at you know, a right wing, a conservative being called a Nazi, you're probably a conservative and probably a Nazi. But what doesn't matter is if that equivalence matters now. Because what the point that they were trying to make is like, it has all of the trappings. It has all of the same hallmarks of Nazism. But let's be clear, it's its own thing. Like it is not the exact same. It's very, very similar. History is, you know, rhyming very strongly right now. But it is its own thing. And it is different, and it should be considered different. It should be studied differently. It should be, you know, use history as praise, a way to inform how you're looking at this. But in due time, it's gonna be the same. You know, think about like people whose grandparents had like, you know, Nazi like paraphernalia of some kind that they were like ashamed of or like hid or something. It's gonna be the same thing with MAGA hats. Like in 50 years, people are gonna be like, hey, why did great grandpappy have a MAGA hat? and their mom's gonna be like, oh, it's because great grandpappy was a fucking moron who watched a debate in which Trump said they're eating the dogs and then voted for him. So that's why. Going up. Bluestone says, I'm always in favor of younger politicians. In Germany, the current generation of politicians is rather comfortable and conservative. Meanwhile, the internet generation is better informed because they communicate much more open. When you say current generation of politicians, I'm assuming that you mean like those currently in power who are like of an older generation, right? In the US, our average representative age of a Congress person in the US, it's like 70. The median voting age in the House is 57.5 years. The Senate's median age is 64.7 years. And that's big. It went down because multiple people died in office recently. Oldest Republican in power currently is 87. Oldest Democrat is 86. We had a 90 in there recently, I believe. Yeah, so Gen X is just now starting to become the most represented generation in our government. Generation X is just now starting to get a handle on the government of the United States of America. Gen Z is becoming the primary generation in the workforce, which is multiple generations away. Who's that one person who is wheelchair bound and had her daughter doing the voting for her? Multiple of them, actually. Well, there's Dianne Feinstein, who was fucking ancient. Nancy Pelosi did several. Nancy Pelosi, even after stepping down as Speaker of the House, whipped votes to prevent AOC from getting a meaningful oversight committee position from her hospital bed. So if you remember, AOC was running to be the Democrat chair of the House Oversight Committee. But there was an old dude with cancer who Nancy Pelosi owed a favor to. And so she whipped votes while she was in the hospital, in her hospital bed, to get people to side against AOC and vote for the ancient old man with cancer who had to step down from the role like 6 months afterwards because of the cancer. And the world's still just moving on. Lupus says thoughts on AOC. I don't have a lot of thoughts on AOC. She's fine. She seems like a nice person. I don't tend to form strong opinions on progressives in electoral politics because that game is so whack. I understand that people in electoral politics they have to play the game. And even if they're trying to not play the game, that's part of playing the game. Politicians who are like, oh, I'm an outsider, I'm not a real politician, that's playing the game, right? Like that was Trump's whole deal, was him being like, I'm an outsider, and people were like, yeah, we're gonna stick it to Washington. And now he's like the most self-enriching president in US history. So even if you're trying to claim that you don't play the game, you're still playing the game. And AOC has definitely softened on some of her more progressive positions since becoming an elected official, since trying to get more mainstream support. I do appreciate that she does speak out against people in her own party. That's kind of rare, which is nice. She'll speak out against like Pelosi or whoever, but at the end of the day, it's like AOC is an interesting person, I guess. It is traumatically sad that she's pretty much the only one that we can look to as like an example of an outsider in the Democrats. Like, that's basically it. There's like maybe a couple others, but otherwise it's just, they're all centrists. Thoughts on Zoran Mamdani? As a New Yorker, I'm anxious. Anxious in what way? Like anxious that he won't win? Like he's almost definitely going to win. I don't want to like jinx it, but it seems very unlikely that he won't win. But we'll see. Seems interesting. I mean, like it's the kind of thing where Zoran is a good example of the direction that politics is moving now, which is largely just like, hey, can we do anything else? Like anything else? Which is not what we're doing right now. What we're doing right now is we've been told over and over again on loop forever by people in power that doing something different is too dangerous right now. We need to be simpler. We need to be more stable. We need to go back to the basics. And I fucking guarantee you, the Democrat establishment is going to try to run somebody on that platform in the next presidential election. They're going to try to run on a platform of, we've had a lot of craziness recently, everyone. What we need right now is an adult in the room and to just make things simpler and to calm things down. And that person's not going to do something like go after the people who need to be gone after. Like that person's not going to send the fucking war criminals to The Hague. That person's going to just make things worse. They're going to do another fucking Merrick Garland. So hopefully they'll actually do something. I don't believe that they will, but the way that we need to move is something like what Zoran's doing, where like he's saying things that are pretty pie in the sky. I will admit that like he's saying things that he can't really just do. And he's been open about that. Like he's saying things like, freeze the rent, free buses, stuff like that. Make buses run faster. He doesn't have the authority to just do that. But it doesn't really matter because we've learned that it doesn't matter what you can actually do. Trump said he was going to make Mexico pay for the wall. He became president again after doing crimes and being found guilty for them. So it doesn't really fucking matter what your platform is, what you say you'll do. It matters what vibes you're giving off. And Zoran Mamdani is giving off vibes of not a sex pest and not a criminal. And vibes of, hey, maybe our city should be governed by people who like it. I guarantee, like, Andrew Cuomo fucking hates New York City. Are you kidding me? Andrew Cuomo wants nothing to do with any of those fucking gross ass people living in the city. Nah, he doesn't want to be there. It's gross. It's gross. But Zoran Mamdani, like, he looks like, talks like, and feels like a normal fucking person that you would meet in New York City. And so he hopefully will win. And what people want is someone they can relate to. People can relate to Donald Trump for various reasons. They might be a misogynist, they might be a racist, or they might just feel like he's saying shit that no other politician is saying. And fuck all those other politicians. I'm with this guy. That's not a good reason. It's not a good reason to use your vote to endanger anyone who's not a cis straight white man, but it is a reason that people used. Andrew Cuomo's platform is I'm Mario Cuomo's son. Yeah, not a great platform, like not particularly a great platform. It also doesn't help that the other half of his platform is please ignore the fact that I'm also a sex pest. So thoughts on Kat? She keeps getting mentioned in the same breath as Zoran. Yeah, she seems cool too. She seems pretty down to earth. It's another example of like she is somebody who very much changed her tone when she started campaigning. And again, you have to play the game. So like she had a whole long history of like being very loudly anti-fascist, really railing on the right, and she still is. I'm glad to see that she has gone and said like certain leaders in the Republican Party need to be tried at The Hague. Like that's the thing that she has said. That's good. That's progress. And she's not backing down when she's challenged on that. She's like, no, I stand by that. Why wouldn't they? Like, make an argument that they shouldn't be tried for war crimes because they're doing war crimes. So that's good. I don't really know much else about her. I like what I've seen. The main thing is you're not going to get an endorsement of a political candidate out of me. I might like somebody. I might even be planning to vote for them. I am probably not going to endorse them. I don't feel comfortable saying unilaterally that a given politician is the right call. I will say they seem good or not good. But at the end of the day, I still ultimately don't really believe in the moral validity of our hierarchy and don't believe that we should have a president. As Pedro just said, Dev for president, I would make a bad president and I don't want to be one. I don't think we should have one. So it's not like a sort of personal policy of mine is essentially never endorse politicians directly. And for the same thing, never, I don't take money from like political entities. And I especially don't take money from political entities to endorse someone, which I have gotten emails about. I have gotten emails saying like, hey, we think that this person who is running for this spot is like perfect for your vibe. Like, well, do you want to endorse them? And I'm like, no. You're asking to pay me to get access to the trusting relationship between me and my viewers, and that's not enough money. I've not been offered enough money for that. If I ever get offered like $1 billion to betray all of y'all's trust that I'm going to betray your trust and then turn around and split that money with you. Like, we'll do something fun with it. We'll throw a party. We'll buy an island and you can all, I'll set up a hammock for each one of you. Isn't that a bribe? It's not directly money. It's not like we'll give you money to endorse this candidate. It's like, hey, do you want to have like more connections that might be profitable by way of working with us, by way of endorse this candidate? It's shady. Do it, take the billion. I don't have people wanting to give me billions of dollars. I wish that I was an amoral piece of shit, because God, I can make so much money. I can make so much money if I just betrayed all of my morals. Unfortunately for me, I instead lose money because of my morals. It's not a great way to get food, but so be it. What is the Hague? Sorry, my shitty Christian school education didn't cover that. So it's the Hague, H-A-G-U-E? Yes, that's correct. The Hague is a municipality in the Netherlands. It's where like war crime trials happen, like the Nuremberg trials. Where is that part? History? Modern history? Something about Holland. Okay, well, I don't... politics. International politics. Yeah, so it's where the International Criminal Court and the ICJ are. So it's essentially the central international court location. And when people refer to the Hague or saying that people need to be tried at the Hague, they're basically saying these people have done war crimes and should be held liable at on the global stage, and then also potentially dealt with. Nuremberg happened in Nuremberg, not the Hague. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me with regards to what I just said about Nuremberg trials. It's the ICC and ICJ. That's what I was mixing up in my head. I always thought it was pronounced Hog. I'm pretty sure it's Hague. Fairly certain it's Hague. The Nuremberg trials happened in the Hague. God, I need to sleep more. I need to eat a snack, actually. Hold on. Dingus. Peanut butter pretzels, motherfuckers. Cranking my hag. Oh. Going up. I'm gonna move my mic so you don't hear me chewing. Hey, it's time for a drink. It was a big bite. Hold on. My goodness. Okay. What in the American is peanut butter pretzels? Oh, Chris. Hold on. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. What is a peanut butter pretzel? It's pure joy. Look at this. You see this? This little nugget? This is stuffed with peanut butter. You see that? You can see it in there. It's got a little bit of peanut butter in there, right? And so you just got a big old thing of peanut butter filled pretzel nubbins. So it's like a nice salty snack, but because there's peanut butter in there, it actually like has a bit of like filling potential. Like it actually makes it so that you're not super hungry afterwards. New music. Tavern vibes. What kind of camera do you use that autofocus isn't too bad? Yeah, it actually has a whole like autofocusing on things that are really close to it thing. So like I can show stuff off as long as I can give it like a static background. You know, it focuses pretty dang good. It is a Sony ZV-1 Mark II. Sony ZV-1-MK2. I just posted it in chat. Not camera names are the worst, is what I've learned since becoming a content creator. Like cameras are named the dumbest shit imaginable. How can I show you here? Let me show you my camera. And catch y'all in 4K. Send this over to the old computer. Excuse me. Where's the photo that I just took? Oh, there it is. Share computer. Oh, come on. Excuse me. Oh. It did the thing where it came to my computer in a bad format. Here we go. Oh, no. That's a large picture. That's a larger picture than I thought it was going to be. Let's go ahead and... Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. That's a large picture. Okay. Hey, it's me. This is the camera that I use. if you were interested. Yeah. It's just a little guy. It's basically just like a little point and shoot camera. I got it as a combination like webcam for streaming, but then also for like travel. So it's just like my pocketable camera kind of. It mostly just stays as my webcam, but if I do need a secondary camera for travel, it's not so bad. Does it get hot from prolonged use? Yes. Yeah. It gets hot from prolonged use. It doesn't, it sometimes overheats. I've had it overheat and shut down, but largely it's not that big of a deal. You can also get, they sell a like placeholder battery insert that is like, so that if you're going to have it always plugged in, you can have it just not have a battery. And I think that reduces the temperature or something. Unclear. But yeah, I'm just interested in dog cam. That's fair. That's fair. It's a better camera anyway. It has a better feed. Dev, get the whimsy hat again? I was like, oh, I need a new camera, and then I looked at the price. Yeah, it's not inexpensive. It's not inexpensive, unfortunately. Cameras are expensive. Cameras are really expensive. It's not great. It's not great. Now I want peanut butter pretzels. I do too, and I have them here with me. Yeah, it's very whimsical today. I'm feeling very, very, very whimsical. Oh, what fun. Yeah, it's a very fun hat. It's pretty good. Oh, look at it twirl. I might accidentally fly away if the propeller does keep spinning, so. The wee hat is very adorable. I would put it on the dog, but he's very much asleep right now. He's just being a little snooze boy, currently. I like this dev skin. Oh yeah, this is my skin. I'm wearing my classic jacket that everybody wants to know where I got it. Whenever I wear this jacket, the only fucking comments that I get are people being like, where'd you get that jacket? I want it. And it's devastating because I cannot give you an answer. Because it doesn't exist. This is the Battle Pass dev skin. This is a unique drop now. So like, I don't know how to tell you. I tried to find like the blanks for this shirt or for this hoodie. Couldn't find them anywhere. Like I cannot figure out who produced this hoodie. It was merch from a job that I had. It was like a summit, like an all hands, you know, everybody fly out to this location and blah, 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 blah. And this was just like the merch they gave out. And it's a rad jacket. I love it. I wish I could buy more and tell people where to get it, but I can't. Dev got it from the Secret Realm. I got it from the Secret Shop. What mic are you using? I want to get something besides my Yeti. So, unfortunately, with regards to things costing too much money, this mic is not going to help you too much. But I do have a tip. So it's the Shure SM7B is what I use, which is the, like, you know, default mic. And it's too expensive. It's like $440. But they have a more expensive one. Great, wonderful. But there's a variant somewhere. Somewhere. Hello? Where's the variant that I'm looking for? Hello? Shure SM7B mic. Alternative? I'm so mad right now. Like so they have, here it is. The MV7, that's what I was looking for. So Shure has an MV7, which is a little cheaper. It's not cheap. Still like $300, but it is less intense. It still has the XLR output, but it also has USB output. So I'm using XLR. So I was a the reason that my stuff is so fucking extra is because I was a theater like assistant tech director for a while, and so I have just like a lot of it. Oh, my hat's spinning. I have a decent amount of experience in just like wiring and audio video equipment and shit like that. So this microphone uses a thing called an XLR interface, which is essentially a like high quality audio interface. And so this cable actually has to go into a little box that converts it into a USB plug that then goes into my computer. This microphone this one that I'm looking at here is virtually identical to this one, but has directly a USB port out in addition to the XLR. So you have a bit more flexibility, and it's a bit cheaper, but it's not cheap. What I would recommend for a still not cheap but inexpensive, very high quality sounding mic is the Samson SMB mic. No. Yes. This one. CO1U Pro. Samson CO1U Pro. This guy. So this item is currently unavailable, apparently. Find a dealer. Let's look at Streetwater. To find a dealer, get a price check on this thing. Hello? Is no longer available. No. Maybe there's a sequel. Is there a sequel? Hold on. Now I want to know. Okay, is there like a sequel? The CO2U Pro sequel. What's it called when you have like the next one in a line? Damn it. Anyway, this mic fucking rules. Let's see if there's like a similar one. Microphones. Condenser microphones. Okay. There's some other options. Yeah, this is probably really good. This looks like basically the same thing. Yeah, this is essentially the same thing. So here's an $80 mic that's going to sound like fucking great. It was the mic that I was using. Actually, if you go back and watch older episodes of my Minecraft series on my gaming channel on YouTube, you will see this mic. This is the mic that I was using. Only the one that I had was fully silver, not black on top. So if you are a person who wants a quality mic and you want something that is battle tested, I haven't tried this one specifically, but this company and this general model of mic did me really, really well and would have been fine for a long time had I not had the opportunity to get this mic instead. But I had the opportunity to get this mic, and so I got it. That's my story about microphones. Hope you enjoyed it. Welcome to my microphone review stream. I see that one on Amazon, I think, if you do Amazon. Yeah, I mean, like, you might be able to find stuff on Amazon, especially used gear, like Pedro said. Also, yeah, cameras. If you're a person who's trying to buy a camera, go to the like refurbished section. I know Fujifilm. I actually got, this was a hot tip that I got from a random person who I was out in the city eating some food, and this woman walks by. I'm getting so off topic here. I'm going to tell the story anyway. Once upon a time, I completely forgot that I was a man, and I was in the middle of city accosting a woman who walked by me because she had a lanyard with a camera that was like the exact camera model that I've been looking at from Fujifilm, or at least I thought it was. And so I jump out of my chair and chase after her, and I'm like, excuse me, can I see your camera? And obviously she hurried up her pace a little bit before like turning and realizing that I just wanted to talk about the camera. And so then we ended up having a very nice conversation. She was so excited to talk about the camera. She was like completely realized that everything was fine and like was elated to talk to somebody about this camera. And she told me that she got it on like a really, really good price because she went to Fujifilm's refurbished section and got it like 30% of retail value, but it's in perfectly good condition. So definitely check out refurbished stuff or like garage sale style stuff or like previous gen stuff from camera companies, because these cameras are still incredibly good, but they, you know, refurbish them every year and jack up the price $1,000. Yeah, I completely forgot that I'm a dude. I don't know. I keep being like, surely I'm not threatening. And then I remember I'm still like deep voiced man. Camera people love talking about their cameras. Yeah, thankfully it was diffused very quickly. I did realize as I started going after that that was maybe not the best way to approach. That was maybe a misjudgment on my part. Wear the whimsy hat next time. That's a good point. That's a good point. Let's see. Dev forgets that he's in fact not a little guy. Someone asked earlier about the Politico article. I'm assuming you're talking about this one. I love Hitler. Clip it. Leaked messages expose young Republicans' racist chat. So this is, surprising exactly nobody. There was a leak of a bunch of like young conservative chats in which they say a bunch of things that young conservatives say. Anyone who's surprised by this has been lying to themselves. It's still awful to see all of it just plainly written, but it's exactly what we knew was always happening. It's rape jokes, it's racism, it's dehumanization, it's anti-Semitism. Essentially, what happened is a bunch of private messages from like meaningful figures in the young Republican movements, like young GOP leaders, joking about gas chambers, slavery, and rape. Leaders of young Republican groups throughout the country worried that what would happen if their Telegram chat ever got leaked, but they kept typing anyway. They referred to black people as monkeys and, quote, the watermelon people, and they mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about raping their enemies and driving them to suicide, and lauded Republicans who they believed support slavery. William Hendricks, the Kansas Young Republicans vice chair, used the words, "I'm not saying that," variations of a slur more than a dozen times in his chat. Another vice chair of the New York State Young Republicans said rape was, quote, epic. Like, this is why young Republicans are the fucking dumbest shit in the world. Because, like, young men are awful. I'm sorry. Young men are the fucking worst. As a former young man, it's bad. They condone so much. It's the fucking MCR song. Teenagers scared the living shit out of me. Like, when you are a teenage boy, the only things on your mind are fuck and outdo everyone around you. Outdo all of your friends and be the most intense or the most out there or whatever. And that curates over time just a culture of uplifting that level of depravity. Like rape jokes, gas chamber jokes. No, I am no stranger to those things. Not even remotely. I won't even pretend that I've never made those kinds of jokes. But I was also 16, 15, and I should have known better. But I didn't. And I eventually changed and realized that that was fucking terrible. But at that age is when they're trying to get these people into politics. And so they're selling them on this concept of, oh, you're going to be as like brazenly primal and awful as possible. We're the party for you. And that is the right way to be. Don't change that. Like, they're trying to hook into these people and tell them, we're gonna uplift these traits. We're gonna support you for being like this, rather than the thing that is supposed to happen, which is dumb teenagers eventually do something dumb enough that they get punched in the jaw and don't do that again. But unfortunately, you're not allowed to punch people in the jaw anymore. I know, I used to be one. Yeah, it's real. Like the number of times that I made jokes that I will not repeat now, or like just the screaming the word rape was a punchline among young boys when I was growing up. You know, someone tackled you or something, you would just scream rape because that's funny, because it's edgy, right? Like you don't know how else to be creative and at the forefront of every conversation aside from just being edgy. And then when that edge becomes your personality, that's when you get that shit. So there was a bunch of leaked texts from a bunch of conservative young people who are in positions of power in like campuses and stuff saying egregious things. And like, this shouldn't be surprising. And probably nothing's going to come of it. But like, this is what we're saying. And this is why everyone was like, yeah, Charlie Kirk is a fucking monster. And the world is better off with him dead. Like, him being gone means one less person actively working to cultivate exactly this. These people saying those things about everyone are the exact target audience for him. Or were, if he still had a neck. I'm way behind, but just hopping in to see about a close-up on the jacket tag. I work in clothing. I might be able to find it. I don't have... There's no tag left. I think that's part of the problem, is that there's not a tag. So, unfortunate. His not grieving wife is milking his death. Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird. Also, I've seen a lot of people on the left, like I've seen a lot of liberals and some progressives talking about how like no one cares about Charlie Kirk anymore. And that the right is already over Charlie Kirk and like, haha, you know, he's already not being talked about. That's not true. Let's be clear. That's not true. They're still talking about Charlie Kirk. They're talking about other things around it. They're talking about like the circumstances around his death. They're still trying to push the like leftists killed Charlie Kirk thing. Like they're still trying to use his death as a thing. The difference is that it's like the online left, or sorry, the online right talking about it now, not the general public. Like there was a brief moment where the average normie was hearing about Charlie Kirk for basically the first time, which is why they tried so hard to paint him as some sort of like completely reasonable centrist that had like nothing but good takes, because nobody knew anything about him, because he was irrelevant to like the majority of older voters. The problem that he posed was among the younger generation, but he had no sway with older people because he was just a little prick. No one cared. And so when he died, they needed to use that to sway the older people as well, because the young people they already had. But that wasn't going to be enough because the online right is not as big as apathetic people. So like that's part of why all of this shit is so messy, is because like they're trying to do all the things that they've been riling themselves up about on the internet in their echo chambers. And then when a normal apathetic voter or vague conservative who's otherwise not paying attention starts to deal with this weird fallout of like, why are they going after Tylenol? Or like, wait, I can't get my flu shot? Or like, I can't do certain, like, why, what is happening? Why are the tariffs happening? What's going on? Like, they're getting upset. And Republicans are really fucking scared of losing them because just having their extreme online presence is not enough. It's just that the people who are extremely online are the ones drawing a lot of the discussion, and the rest of the people are not paying attention and just accidentally endorsing it. It's insane to me that they managed to forget about 9/11 for it. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Do you still do game dev? That's a good segue. So the answer is yes and no. I still very much love game development from a just a pure hobby perspective. I love making games. Everything I do has some aspect of gamification. There's the mini game down here in my stream, and I'm going to be doing more with that. If you're a member of my community, there's a whole like asynchronous real-time RPG that you can play. literally just before going live, and I've been wanting to talk about this, so now's a good time. Literally just before going live, I made an extremely difficult announcement, which is that I'm pausing development on my tabletop role-playing game project, Proscenium, indefinitely. So I've been working on a tabletop role-playing game designed to be like very accessible, easy to learn, very inclusive, and free. The goal being make a game that people can just pick up and play as easy as possible, but supports like homebrew and gives people easy access to everything they need to play, because all I want to do is help people just like have fun with their friends. I announced this project like 2 years ago. Since then, I've had a handful of setbacks, including my country devolving into abject fascism. So where I'm finding myself now is that I am stretched so thin to the point that I've been not able to do anything recently. I've been falling behind on stuff. I've been just rushing constantly, and it's not good for my health. It's not good for longevity of my work, and frankly, my content has been suffering, I think. What I want to do is refocus and really put my energy into content creation. I really want to focus on producing more consistent and more variety of content. More than just stuff keeps happening, more than just stuff keeps happening and then like, you know, some clips from that or from streams. Like, I really want to be able to make other videos, and I've been wanting to do that for a long time, but between like managing all the stuff that I'm doing and trying to also build an entire game and support infrastructure for that game and setting for that game to take place in, which are things that I in a vacuum, it's what I want to do. I'm doing it because I like it. And that's part of why it's been so hard to make this decision. But I can't do keeping on top of everything going on in the world and conveying it in videos with literally hundreds of thousands of people looking to me for insight on stuff, while also producing a meaningful piece of like gaming work that I don't want to pull back on. I see Matthew says a one-page rule TTRPG is neat for all of those goals. Fully agree. And that's not what I was going for. Like, I was going for building more of a comprehensive thing. And I'm so proud of what I've built so far. But I just need to reclaim time and energy so I can focus on other stuff. And right now, frankly, like trying to work on building a tabletop role-playing game while taking breaks to post videos in which I'm saying like, hey, our government is disappearing our neighbors. It's not sitting right. It's not sitting right with me, and it's been really weighing. So like, I don't want to be sitting here pretending that I'm working on something that I'm not working on. And I don't want to be here just like half-assing too many things. So all I really want to do right now is double down my focus on content, streaming, my gaming channel, recording and posting things for people's enjoyment. So hopefully what this means is I'll have a bit more of a break. I'll be able to focus on producing things that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And ultimately, hopefully, you will have more content from me, which I'm hoping is a fair trade. So trying to keep this sustainable, trying to make sure that I'm not burning myself out. But I've essentially just felt like I've been stuck in a corner with so many different things I need to do to the point that I can't get any of them done. So, as Lovely Worm says, a pause is not forever. Yeah. So this is an indefinite pause. I would love to get back to this whenever I have the time, money, and energy, but I do not have time, money, or energy right now. So I can't really focus on it, and I don't want to half-ass it. So that's that. Thanks for listening to my ramble about that. It's been really, really, really weighing on me for a long time. Not wanting to put down a thing that I've been building and focusing on for so long. I care about proscenium so goddamn much, so I do not want to put it down, but it is the right decision for my health and for the future of my ability to keep doing this. So that's what it is. Claire Bear says, hi, just woke up and popped in. Hope everyone's okay. Doing all right. Doing all right. How's Flynn doing? Seems like he's doing all right. Hell yeah. It's better than going full tech bro and creating dev AI to complete your project. I'm gonna complain. I'm gonna complain that I fucking hate getting all of the offers from AI companies. I get so many emails from AI companies being like, hey, partner with us to make content that doesn't suck. They'll be like, your content is bad. It could be better with our AI product. Give us money and shill our AI product. I'm like, fuck you? No, absolutely not. I'm good. Also, first of all, my content is just fine, thank you. Second of all, there's no way your AI could make content that would do better than mine. Third, fuck you. Stop it. Knock it off. And then also the creepy shit where it's like Instagram is like, let your viewers talk to you by making an AI chatbot of you. I cannot think of a thing that I want less than a Facebook-owned chatbot to speak on my behalf. No. No, thank you. Damn it, what the fuck is that kind of email? Insulting you to sell a partnership? I get it, it's all the time. They neg all the time. I get emails that are like trying to get me to buy a service either from some like quote unquote agency or an AI thing. But it's always like, your content's doing okay, but it could be doing well if you just used our AI. Or like I get a lot of I have like 1 million websites and like several different YouTube channels, not all of which are intended to be like there for growth. So I've got like my VODs channel, for example, over on YouTube, which I don't really even use much anymore because I'm streaming to YouTube now, so I can just post the VODs to my main channel. But I have a VODs channel on YouTube that's got all of my older VODs on it, and I get emails from people being like, hello, Endeavods, do you want to get more viewership so that people see your videos on YouTube? Use our AI to do whatever. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking? I know that you just found a channel and saw that there's consistent uploads, and so you emailed the owner of the channel to try to get them to pay you money. But like, this is not a channel that I'm trying to grow. What do you mean? Gotta really improve the marketing capacity of my recorded streams archives. No. I got a comment like that trying to sell me bot subs. Yeah, I all the time am just getting weird offers that it's like, I don't understand what kind of a person you think I am. And it's always the same script too. They're always like, we think your audience would love this. And the product is like, my favorite example of this is real. This is fucking real. I once got an email from a company who said that they think that you specifically, you watching this, they were saying that you all would love this. Their product was AI talking Donald Trump bobblehead doll. No, I'm good, actually. I think I'm good. I think I don't need a doll of a guy I don't like that has an AI to talk or something. No, I'm good. I'm done. We're not doing that. Whatever you do, don't take money from private equity. You've got very little to worry about, because here's the God honest truth. haven't replied to a collaboration inquiry email in like 8 months. So you really don't have to worry about it. That's part of what I'm talking about with like, I'm a bad creator. I get in my own way. I get a whole bunch of partnership emails and I'm like, I don't have the energy to talk about this or set up a plan or produce the thing that they want me to produce. And so I just don't reply. It's a hard no from me, dog. Have you seen Jax Films React Bot? What at? I know Jax Films. I don't know React Bot. The audience hates that, actually. Yeah, my audience is not going to love that. The audience would indeed not love that. What if the bobblehead comes off, or comes with a cattle prog and a BB shooter? It's just a fucking target practice thing. Now I want to hear about your email filters because they have to be solid. My goodness, you just looked directly through my eyes and into my soul. You have no idea. I've been called the fuck out. I have been called the fuck out. I do have a lot of email filters. Like a lot of them. I've never been so called out in my entire life. Largely, they just send things to a folder that I don't look at at the end of the day. ReactBot is a fully animated Magic 8 Ball with like 1,200 responses. Is it a, like, but like, what does that mean? Like, Jax Films React Bot. Oh, it's like a, oh. It's like an AI thing? So it's like an avatar that talks for him? I don't know why I was supposed to have known this. Why was I supposed to have known what this is? People are acting like this is just common knowledge that like that like everyone knows what Jax Films ReactBot.exe is. No hate to Jax Films. I don't know what that is. I don't know. That would explain the social security number? Wait, what? Wait, whose social security number? Do you have a product you would like to be sponsored by if the opportunity came? I feel like the company that makes my beanie at this point should sponsor me. I would take that. I'm not going to say what it is. If you recognize the logo, then you'll recognize it. I'm not going to say what it is because they're not paying me money. But they should pay me money. I also would say, I've said this before, there's a company that I get a lot of my like soap and beard oil and whatnot from, and I would be happy to shill their stuff. I like their stuff, but I reached out to them once and they never got back to me. So they're dead to me until they get back to me, in which case I'd be happy to shill their stuff. He built it to take the piss out of reactors. Oh, like reacting, like doing React videos. Like doing React content. Got it. Understood. I'm not tuned in to the broader streaming world at all. I cannot emphasize that enough. I don't know shit about fuck with what's going on with like any other major streamer. I've seen the names come across my feed. I've seen, if we did a little test, maybe this will be a fun thing to do on like Friday's stream or something. A little test of like, here are a bunch of pictures of famous streamers and here are all their handles. How many can I get right? I would fail it miserably. I would fail it so bad. It would be really, really bad. I just don't know. They all like come up and go so fast. I can't keep track of who's famous anymore and who's not. Like the whole pirate software thing. Like he became rampantly famous and then just disappeared. Just kind of doing my thing over here. I don't know. I also just never want to be involved in streamer drama. I'm perfectly happy to meet other streamers and chat with other streamers or whatever. I never want to find myself in a place where like I'm among that echelon of streamer where like the drama is half the point. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Like there seems to be a like clique or like a ring of like streamers and content creators who always have some crazy dramatic bullshit going on, and like it seeps into their viewership, and that parasocial relationship to them and the drama is not a thing that I have any interest in being a part of my content. The last time that I got like wrapped up in some like dumb drama bullshit that I wanted nothing to do with, I hard outed and got the just cut ties. I would like to never do anything like that again. I hate drama tennis videos. Is that what it's called? Hassan tasing his dog. Yeah, like the whole thing where it's like, oh, Hassan tased his dog when he didn't. It's fucking crazy. Like, people are all over the place. The streamer news cycle continues to be ruthless. I don't understand. Like, I just don't know what. Maybe it's just like an endless source of content, you know, like it's easy content if you just keep doing weird shit or something. But I don't have the fortitude for that. I don't have the desire to let, like, that would just stress me the fuck out. I care too much about my impact on other people to make being aggressive towards others a part of my content. I enjoy streamer friendships that involve them just casually appearing on each other's channels and just being silly. Absolutely. I need to do more of that. And I'm kind of hoping that as a part of the like transitioning away from working on proscenium stuff, I really want to ramp up my content side of things. So I'm hoping to do like more content, maybe collabs with people or something, like more videos. I'm not going to promise too much because the whole point is to not burn myself out, but still. Does Flynn have a collar? He does. Oh, and he's up. Hold on. Let's go say hi to the dog. He's so EP. Oh, my hat stayed on for all that. Wonderful. Excellent. Oh, he's still sleepy? Oh, he's always going to be sleepy. Absolutely. I didn't mean to insinuate Jax as slop, but Sniper Wolf is the OG lazy react and would totally count as slop, even without AI. Didn't something happen with, like, Jax Films and Sniper Wolf or something? I forget. I don't... Again... these are like Jax Films I know from, like, you know, he's got pedigree, like he's a long-standing YouTuber from way back in the day. I haven't really followed his stuff recently, but I've never not liked him. So yeah, like nothing against him. I know nothing about Sniper Wolf, but that's one of those names that like I've seen, but I don't know anything about them. But like everyone seems to have all this context of all these streamers and whatnot, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. That seems like a person. She doxed him. Yeah. She like showed up at his house, right? Yeah. Jax Films is old. I mean, I think he's like my age, which is to say old as fuck. Synthwave. Jax Films is so old that he had a a fleeting collaboration streak with fucking Toby what the fuck was his last name? I'm glad that I don't remember. Toby Fox. I'm glad that no, not Toby Fox. No. Wait. Toby Fox is the Undertale guy. Not Toby Fox. Fuck you. Toby, bad YouTuber. Forget his last name. Fucking Tobuscus. Yeah, Toby Turner. Tobuscus. But oh my god. That one's tragic, man. Like that was one of the earliest YouTuber falls from grace that I was like personally paying attention to. I really liked Toby Turner really, really early on into his YouTube career. Like he had like skits. Like all he did was just like funny little 1 to 2 minute long skits, and I enjoyed them. And then holy fucking Christ, the dude like did some sex pest things, and then like became, did the route of becoming like a right-wing grifter for a while. But like it was just a crazy fucking trajectory, because it was like him, Jax Films, and one other guy whose name I forget, but like the three of them had like a little thing together where they were like doing collabs. And then like they all kind of started to do their own shows. Like Jax Films started to do the like the Yesterday I Asked You stuff. And Tobuscus started doing like cute win fail. It was the era of Less Than Three, right? Like it was the era of Ray William Johnson and doing like bit shows like that. And then Tobuscus just like fucking imploded. I forget the exact specifics, but I'm pretty sure he essentially was outed by an ex for being like crazy. And then outed by other creators for being like a creep, and then couldn't really stage a comeback, and so he just went into right-wing grifting as they all do, and now we're here. But man, I'm really glad that Jax Films did not go that route, and is instead just a normal dude doing stuff. Like, good. He's the guy with the big eyes, right? He's Tobuscus. This guy, wee little fucking baby. This guy's a piece of shit, but there was a time before it came out that he was a complete piece of shit. It's crazy that Philip DeFranco is still like a semi-reputable news tuber nowadays. Yeah, so Philip DeFranco is another person that I watched him for a long time. I watched him way, again, really, really early on, probably within his first year of being on YouTube. Way back when he was also a piece of shit. Philip DeFranco was like loudly a fucking piece of shit dude early on. And he's clear about that. He doesn't hide that. He acknowledges that like he was an immature little piece of shit, because he used to do things like a segment called Megan Fox Watch, which was just like, here's some hot pictures of Megan Fox. So like he's gone through a lot of growth as well, which is to be expected when someone gets on YouTube when they're a fucking teenager and is now like a 40-something-year-old with children. Like he's a very different person now. But again, 16-year-old boys say dumb shit and do dumb shit. He was immature, yeah. Now, modern Philip DeFranco, I still have some issues with. Like, I generally find him to be reliable in terms of like fact-based reporting. I have not gotten over the way he talked about Israel and Gaza. I haven't gotten over that. Scrolling along my For You page and seeing Philip DeFranco like talking about how amazed he is with Mossad when they did their the pager attack, like the fucking terrorist attack that indiscriminately killed people with exploding beepers. He did like a video like lauding that, like talking about how incredible and amazing it was. And like I guess from an objective standpoint, sure. Also, not the right energy. Like, civilians are dead, and it's Israel. Like, it was a lot of straddling the line with regards to Israel and Gaza. Did not love his takes on that. And that was disappointing to me. But I'm not gonna like condemn him for that, you know? Like, I've said a lot of things. He has said a lot of things. A lot of things have been said by a lot of people. And I'm not really in the business of like, if someone has one bad take among a bunch of other takes that I either don't care about or agree with, I'm not going to be like, well, you're dead to me. But I will put you in like a little box of like, okay, well, I now need to contextualize the things that you say and be more thoughtful about my engagement with you. And that's more or less all I've done there. I'm not going to write him off entirely, but I do make sure to understand that like I know where he stands on things. And yeah, poor boy Soul says it's a big take to be wrong on. And yeah, it's not I think the reason that it's not a whole ass hard pass for me, it would be if it was like trans lives don't matter. Like, that's a hard pass. No, you don't get to have that opinion and be considered a functioning human being. He has been a lot less charitable to Israel as the war has drug out. Yeah, I think he was in a position of like not really knowing where he stood and kind of learning as he went. And so like he wasn't, it's not like he was out here shilling for Israel. And so like, I'm not going to pretend that he was, because there were creators who were actively trying to downplay it. And I don't think that's what he was doing. I think he was just making content that he wasn't thinking too much on, which he probably should have put more thought into. But yeah, like, it's not a thing that I take lightly. It's also not a thing that I think we can like use as an indicator of this person's lost forever. Because yeah, like a lot of people changed their thoughts on Israel throughout the war. A lot of people were uncomfortable even at the notion of saying like, well, you know, Israel has a right to defend itself or whatever. Like people were uncomfortable in saying that Israel was going too far, especially after the attack on October 7th, right? As time went on, it went from like people needing to figure out what the fuck the Israel-Gaza situation was. Like, a lot of people never wanted to have to learn about it. They wanted to stay in their like, oh, it's too complicated bubble. But then when people had to learn about it, they realized like, oh, this is actually way more cut and dry than I thought. And they started to change their tune. It's not complicated. It's straight up not. There was a day in like the 60s when they just evicted a bunch of Palestinians from Palestine and said, this is Israel now. And the Palestinians are like, hey, we would like to go home now because this was our home until England and some white dude who's not from here said that it's not our home anymore. And that's the complicated history. That's it. That's it. Since then, there have been scuffles. Almost all the scuffles have been because there's an occupying force in someone else's land. It's not particularly complicated. Saying the Patriot thing was amazing wasn't him being supportive of Israel. I'm not giving him a pass for that. Like, I'm not saying that wasn't a dumb take. I definitely think that he was not thinking about how it was coming across, which is not it doesn't make it better, right? Like, when you're talking about something that touchy, you need to be careful. I just think he was being a bit belligerent about it. I don't like I said, I now understand where he's coming from with that. And I don't I don't really see him in the exact same light, and I know to better contextualize what I'm getting from his content. It's hard to argue with people who think that colonialism was us civilizing the world. Yeah, dog. Look no further than the recent Columbus Day and like all the posts that were like all the posts about like Christopher Columbus and shit. Like seeing posts from right-wingers saying like Christopher Columbus founded America and ended human sacrifices that the natives were doing or some shit. Like, dog, what are you doing? Why are you idolizing Christopher Columbus, and why are you trying to paint Native Americans as savages in 2025? What the fuck? Why are we still doing that? I think you have actually undercomplicated everything that happened before the 1960s. What, being that Palestine was existing? It was just kind of there, and white settlers from the West were like, I want to establish a ethno-state. If I'm missing something important, I'm not sure what it is. Like, there's a lot of people will say, they'll try to say that there's been like 2,000 years of history or something, which is like not true. The people who are in Palestine now are more directly related to the ancestors from 2,000 years ago in that area than anyone else. Like, they are the actual native ancestors of that land. So like, yeah, there is history worth discussing there. I don't know. Maybe I'm overlooking something, but it's very much like Israel was established through force and through colonialism and a desire to establish an ethno-state by way of Zionism. Like, that's what Zionism established itself as. Let's see. Is an ethno-cultural nationalist movement that emerged in the late 19th century Europe, seeking to establish and support a Jewish homeland through the colonization of Palestine. Like there's maybe more history, but the express purpose is to establish an ethno-state by colonizing Palestine. Like, that is the express purpose. It's not like the history that's there is largely Jews were there in biblical times. A lot of bad shit happened to Jews. And so now there are people who want to use that as an excuse to establish an ethno-state by way of colonizing Palestine and genociding the people there and ethnically cleansing them from the land. Like, that's just I don't know. I really, I don't know. The notion that there's like history, like just sort of like the concept of history that needs to be said. Like, I don't. That spooks me. I don't know. It spooks me a little bit. So it reeks of like, I'm not ready to actually be anti-Zionist, I guess. Like, I've met plenty of people who are absolutely Zionists who are like, no, I mean, what they're doing isn't great, but you know, it's just so complicated, and the Jewish people deserve a homeland and should be able to have that. And it's like, okay, but the Palestinian people don't deserve a homeland. And they're like, well, no, but you know, they shouldn't be so aggressive. And it's like, well, they're aggressive because their homeland is being colonized by a political external entity. And it's just, when it comes to the matter of colonizing people's native land, I just don't think that there's all that much wiggle room. I don't understand why we're saying that there's history worth learning about when it doesn't matter to the fact that they're still pushing a genocide even after the ceasefire. That too. Yeah, like Israel is just doing a genocide, and like the ceasefire is not going to hold. They're already doing more killing or whatever. I'm working on a video script that I want to put out about basically everything we've seen in the past 2 fucking years of the intense levels of propaganda and like all the shit that they did. I basically want to put out a like, hey, people are talking about a ceasefire. Don't let them gaslight you into forgetting what the fuck we all just watched. I want to be clear. I think the current state of affairs is very one-sided. Yeah. I mean, like, the thing is, like, Israel doesn't need to exist. Jewish people who wanted to go back to the Holy Land could have gone to Palestine and lived there. That happens already. It's called Morocco. Like, there are a bunch of varied Semites living together in harmony in a single country with multiple different expressions of religion. It could have been an interfaith state, but instead they were like, no, we don't want an interfaith state. We want a ethno-state with none of the brown people. And that's where it's like, okay, let's be careful about playing devil's advocate here when the devil wants to eradicate a lot of people. Ceasefire also conveniently leaves out those Israel-backed gangs attacking Gazans too. The ceasefire also leaves out a Palestinian state, which is why it's not going to hold. Jews were expelled from Morocco too, though. Yeah, they're back. Like, there are actively synagogue. I know Jewish people living with their Muslim family in Morocco, going to temple unharmed. Like, it's not perfect, but like, it is a thing. And like, I come from a Jewish family. It's not like I don't know about the history of Judaism. I celebrate Jewish holidays every single year. I read from what the fuck is it called? Why am I blanking on this? Haggadah? Like, I recite the story of the history of Judaism yearly with my family. So it's not like I'm not aware of these things. It's just like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, Jews being kicked out of a place 2,000 years ago doesn't mean that we can establish an ethno-state in a place that they don't have a claim to, that other people have been living at for those 2,000 years and prior to those 2,000 years as well. At the end of the day, like, if the reason that I'm being so stalwart about this, Seth, like the reason that I'm like not really budging here, is because I don't see a difference between what's happening in Israel and what happened in the US. What happened in the US is a bunch of white people showed up saying, we have claim to this land, and the people here are savage, and we are going to eradicate them. And also, we're going to turn that eradication into a fake story about friendship and growing corn and make a holiday out of it called Thanksgiving. In Palestine, a bunch of white people showed up and said, we have a claim to this land, and the people here are savages, and we're gonna get rid of them, and blah, 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 blah. And so, like, it's so fucking dangerous to say that it's not an egregious overstep, essentially. I guess what I'm saying is I don't think past Zionists and modern Israelis are a monolith. They are, though. Like modern Israelis are not a monolith. Just like yes, modern, like, the Israeli citizens are not a monolith. Just like U.S. citizens are not a monolith. It's not like every U.S. citizen is a Trump supporter, obviously, and it's not like every Israeli citizen supports the idea of eradicating Gaza. However, the entire government of Israel is gung-ho about it, and is actively encouraging and supporting the people, the faction of people in Israel who are aggressively Zionist, who literally go to Palestinians' homes and steal them at gunpoint in the West Bank. Like, that is actively happening today. Likely right now, as I'm talking about this, there is a Palestinian in the West Bank being actively harassed by Israelis trying to take their home. That is a thing that is actively occurring daily with international condemnation. It's just a thing that's going on. And so, like, I'm not talking about the Israelis that have a soul and are not interested in annihilating Gaza, obviously. Like, I'm just like I don't say all US citizens are evil because of what Trump's doing. At the same time, I am not going to say that Zionism is anything less than a like existential threat against the good of humanity. Like, Zionism and being a Zionist is an egregious affront to your own humanity. It is saying, I believe that we should be able to use military power of foreign states to force an ethno-state to exist in a location that already had a full state there with people. And we're going to use force to get rid of them. And that is still alive and well. Like, the top people in the Israeli government, the top advisors to Netanyahu, are upset with him about the ceasefire because they wanted to use this to annihilate Gaza, to annihilate the rest of the Palestinians. They're upset that aid is getting into those regions now because they do not view them as people. They verbatim on the world stage refer to Palestinians as human animals and try to paint a picture to make it so that they are allowed to go and just murder as many of them as they want and take everything from them. So, like, the Zionists of yore, from the past that established the state, then continued to expand and expand and expand, and they haven't stopped. So I don't see why there would be any real meaningful difference. Israel map over time. Like, if they were different, Israel wouldn't have grown. Like, this is a really famous map that is fucking 2 pixels by 2 pixels apparently. Here's a map. Palestine in 1946. The UN plan, which was proposed in 1947, which has sort of islands of Israel and Palestine. And then, oops, now it's Gaza and the West Bank. Oops, now it's Gaza and a smattering. Oh, I'm not showing you my desktop. Jesus Christ. Let's start over. Okay, Palestine in 1946. Basically the whole thing. The UN offered to split it into 2. You basically have like 2 big lumps, more or less, which like only actually happened because there was a bunch of people who wanted to do wars here to kill everybody. And then here, oops, now we're just Gaza and the West Bank. And then oops, now we're just Gaza and a smattering of fucking bullshit. This is not a country. They're trying to claim that this smattering of green blobs counts as Palestine. You have to go through Israel to get between these green blobs, and every time they do that, they have to go through a militarized checkpoint with people with semi-automatic rifles. When they walk out of their house in the West Bank, their horizon is barbed wire. Also, yeah, they're trying to, the greater Israel map. Yeah, they're trying to expand beyond just here. They're trying to do greater Israel now, which is like not a conspiracy. It's like a thing that they are actively, yeah. They're trying to make this a thing. It's an expression with several different biblical meanings, blah, blah, blah. Territorial claims of Israeli nationalist or Zionist movements have varied. Where is the map they want to make? Oh, hey, it's Netanyahu. Talking about greater Israel. Yep. So, nope. For sure, I just want to point out that when you call 19th and 20th century Jews white, you also undermine the extent to which they were second-class citizens and under constant threat in the West. It doesn't forgive their evils, but I don't think they were all uniformly out to steal. But I'm not talking about those people. Like, I'm talking about the powers. I understand that you're basically saying, like, not everybody is bad. Agreed. That doesn't change what happened. That doesn't change the output of what they did. And like the guy who pushed for this, I don't even know, he was maybe Jewish technically, but like at the end of the day, these aren't really Jews. This is not like, Zionism is not a religion. And I think where we're maybe having a bit of struggle here, Seth, is that like I reject the notion that Zionism has anything to do with a religious outlook. It is purely a political conquest outlook. It is explicitly the notion of developing specifically a Jewish ethno-state where Palestine is. Like that is the point. I'm not saying Jews did bad things. I'm saying Zionists did bad things. And I think what's getting to me here is that I completely separate those things because they are not the same. And I think the implication that like we need to be careful with our words around talking about this history because we might insult Jews might catch strays. The Jews from the past might catch strays. Like I know from where I'm coming from that I'm not coming from a place of anti-Semitism. And so I am not worried about railing against Zionism and calling it what it is and saying that the Zionists are fucking evil and that like the establishment of Israel is an atrocity and that people who are still to this day violently trying to take over people's homes is unacceptable and an affront to Judaism. It's insulting as somebody who has a Jewish family that I care about. I care about Jewish values and Jewish ideals, and it's insulting when Zionists try to claim that Zionism is just an inherent thing in Judaism. It's not. It is a political ideology. So I think we're on the same page at this point, but that's why I'm like not really backing down from this. It's like I no quarter, no quarter for Zionism, and equating it to Jews is just, I don't love it. Yeah. If you ever hear me criticizing broadly like a country, I'm not talking about random citizens in that country who were fucked over. Like even when I'm railing against the right, I'm not typically, I don't like to punch down. I'm not punching down at the people who voted for Trump who are in a situation that basically they never had a chance to have done anything else, right? There's like a lot of determinism in people's lives with regards to how they're going to vote with politics. And I can't be inherently mad at them because I know the systems in place cause this to happen. So like I'm criticizing the power, the leaders, the ideology, the aggression. I just got here, nice hat. Thank you. Thank you. I keep forgetting that I have it on. I'm wearing this fucking hat while talking about the Nakba. Whoops. Whoops. This is my attitude with token right-wingers. Yeah, I think it's really important to not get upset. This is gonna sound wild. It's important to not get upset at Trump supporters, but like the wrong ones, the issue that I have with individual Trump supporters, like individual far right people, it's the ones that are belligerently like gleefully in response to every like awful thing. Like they see that people are upset about something that the administration is doing and their response is to gleefully say this is what I voted for, or they're belligerently moving forward as if like they know everything. It's not stupidity or a lack of education that gets me. It's the belligerence. It's the I don't know anything about anything. Anyway, I can make executive decisions about vaccines and no one can convince me otherwise. And I'm going to vote for the guy who is validating my point of view and not telling me that I'm wrong. That is what gets to me. The people who are who refuse to acknowledge that they don't know what they don't know, and instead of saying like, hey, I am good at what I'm good at and I don't know what I don't know, and so it takes a village, I'm going to defer to other folks to fill in those blanks. But instead they just say I am right and anyone who tries to tell me that I'm wrong has an agenda. And therefore, all experts have an agenda, and I'll never listen to them. That's what gets me. That is the thing that really, really fucking hurts me. Because I can't do shit about that. Like, we can be gracious to people who have been screwed over. We can tell them and explain to them. You can go to a person who feels like they have to vote Republican because they've been told that's the only way that things can get fixed or whatever, or they feel threatened by some made up conspiracy that Republicans came up with. Like, if someone's been propagandized, you can get at that by sharing your humanity with them, by connecting on a level that they can't deny. Everyone wants comfort, food, family, stability, a future. And ultimately, there's a lot of agreement there. A lot of like far leftists and people who casually vote Republican have the exact same ideals. A lot of people who casually vote Republican are genuinely not evil, awful people who are just being racist, Like, they are low information voters who are voting Republican because they were told to vote Republican and they never thought about voting before, aside from when it's time to vote, you go to the voting booth and vote Republican. To them, it's not like they're not going to come to a stream and listen. It's been fucking 2 hours of me like rambling about politics stuff at this point. They're not going to come to a stream like this and learn more about it all. They're just going to keep doing it because it's just a routine thing. And connecting with them, like if you go to like a rural area, you'll find like fucking communist shit. You'll find trust-based co-ops, like a chicken coop that has eggs that just say like take what you need and leave something in return. Like, those people would easily vote for someone who's like, hey, you know what? I think we should all help each other and share resources. They'd be like, oh yeah, that's what I do literally every day. But that's not what's happening. And so it's not like they're voting because they want things to get worse necessarily. They just don't know. And so like, I can't be mad at those people. As much as it's like you are an adult, you should have the facilities and capability to identify when you're just being fed bullshit. And you should be able to grow past that, right? Like, if we can all see past the bullshit, you should be able to see past the bullshit too. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't get the tools that they need to be able to see past the bullshit. And that's not their fault. And being mad at them only makes them more unwilling to change their view. So those are not the ones to be upset with. Again, the ones who are who are being like the Charlie Kirks, who are like, I'm gonna like say something egregious and then go like, what are you gonna say about that, lib? Like, those ones, punch them in the teeth. Like, they don't need them. They're not using them. But otherwise, we're all just trying to fucking live. And like, I'm not giving a pass to people who, like, obviously if you voted for Trump, like, you fucking owe us at this point. If you voted for Trump and you want people to give you space to like say, to come back from that, eat fucking crow. You need to eat crow. You need to acknowledge that you fucked up big time. You need to acknowledge that either you fucked up because you knew what you voted for and realized after the fact that was a mistake, or you fucked up because you didn't look into anything and you realized that you enabled this and you could have just not voted for it instead. Or you fucked up because you truly wanted all of this and didn't realize you didn't want it until you touched the hot stove. But either way, regardless of what happened, if you cast a vote for Donald Trump and you want to be accepted back into like the good graces of all of the people whose lives have been so negatively affected by this administration, you better eat crow. You better say, hey, I fucked up and I acknowledge that I fucked up and I'm going to do better next time. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. I have no interest in holding people eternally accountable for a thing that they can't undo. No interest. I am interested in people growing. And if people are able to identify, like, I fucked up, like my vote actually did have an impact and the impact was bad. That's what I want to see from people. Why are we eating crows? I actually looked this up recently. Okay. I'm not sure if this is a thing outside the States, but in the United States, there's a phrase that's eat crow. And eat crow means like make good on what you on like what you did. Like do a difficult thing that you don't want to do. Eat crow comes from apparently it was like a farmer back in the day who was like, I can eat anything. I have a stomach of steel. And someone was like, all right, eat this crow. And crow is known, like, you know, crows are carrion and known for being like filled with disease and fucking, what's it called? Parasites and shit. And so like the idea is, oh, you make this big claim, eat crow. Do the thing. It's like humble pie. Or eating your hat. Yeah. Admitting they messed up is a world of a feat. Just admitting that they messed up is a huge step. And it's not going to happen for a lot of people because pride. And it's not like a thing that it's not a matter of punishment. I don't need to, I don't want to watch these people say they're sorry so that I can get some sick kicks. It's because we need to move past this shit. We need to move past this weird space that we're in where our political discussion is just be the worst person you can be. We've lost sight of the notion of having a society, and people who are actively saying, well, you know what? Fuck it. Instead of trying to do anything, I'm going to just throw my hands in the air and vote for the guy that might ruin everything in the off chance that I come out on top. Like, no. Like you're that's like saying, hey, you know, we're all on this bus that's driving 90 miles an hour downhill. I have this Molotov cocktail. I could not throw it, but I feel like I could throw it also, and everyone on this bus might burn up and die, but they might not. But all I know is that this bus is going 90 miles an hour down a hill, and I want something different to happen. Poof. More people need to get out and talk to their neighbors. Yeah, seriously. More people need to remember that, like, we're surrounded by people and humans that want, people and humans even, that just want to have a good life together. Here's a thing. Here's a story that's kind of sad, but also inspiring. I will pet the puppy. Good point. Good point, Nick. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Here's a real story, and then I'm probably going to close up the stream and go get some lunch. Because, oops, it's 1:30. This is sad. give me a sad thing to end on. I will hydrate. Thank you. Talk to your neighbors. It sucks to be a social person, but talk to your neighbors. Learn their name. Get someone's phone number, have an emergency contact, get the key of somebody nearby in case they need something from you or you need something from them. Having the notion that you can call up a neighbor and be like, hey, you know, I'm out of town, or I'm delayed getting home. Can you do this thing? Like, you know, let my dog out, or can you make sure that my oven's off? That kind of stuff. That's all well and good. I'm a little raw on this right now. I'm gonna take off the hat for this because wearing this hat while talking about this is gonna be not okay. A neighbor down the street from me recently passed, and this is the second neighbor, almost in the exact same spot. Right across the street from them was another neighbor who recently passed away as well. Both of them were very, very old men, but both of them loved Flynn. They really liked it when I walk Flynn past their house. the most recent guy who recently passed would not infrequently, if he was like out front, he loved dogs and he would want to just come pet the dog. There were multiple times where I was walking the dog and I was just sort of like lost in thought, like really didn't want to engage with anyone. And I saw that he was out and I like purposefully crossed the street or whatever so that he wouldn't stop me and want to pet the dog. Because I was like, nah, I just want to focus on what I'm thinking about right now. I don't need to engage with that guy. And then like a week later, there's a dumpster out front of his house and they're clearing out all of his furniture and everything. So it's like, I now have to essentially live with knowing that this guy who, and, you know, it's not like if he had pet Flynn, his life would have been made perfect or something, but like something as simple as letting the old man pet a dog. I should have done it. I should have done that. And like that, those kinds of things, as simple as they are, here's an old man near the very end of his life and he loves to pet the dogs. That's a thing that you can do. You can go participate in community like that. You can go help make someone's day a little bit brighter and enjoy their time while they are around. You know, I didn't know that guy's name. I should have like stopped and chatted with him, asked, you know, about his dogs throughout the years. But I didn't. And the reason why is because I was like thinking through a problem in my head and didn't want to stop my train of thought. So remember to stop, remember to breathe, remember to be a part of the world that's around you. It's so easy to get lost in everything that's going on online. It's so easy to see all the headlines that are coming out of like international places. And even in the US, this big fucking country, you see headlines from all 50 states that are always fucking awful. Take a second. And the next time that you're outside, just look at the sky for a little bit. Look at the clouds, look at a tree. Remember that like you are in this one spot on this big planet. And remember that for every headline, for every awful thing that's happening out there right now, I want you to stand outside, find a quiet space, and just listen. That is the sound of all of those headlines. They're so far away, there's nothing you can do about it. If you can't do anything about it, you kind of just have to let it be. So the next time that you're feeling overwhelmed, the next time you're feeling like everything is falling apart, there's a 5-alarm fire, everything is going crazy, remember, step outside, listen to it, listen to the world. Remind yourself, I am not in all those places at the same time. I am here. The news here, there's a squirrel running across the tree. That's what's going on in my neck of the woods. And yeah, lots of horrible shit going on around the world, but if you can't do anything to fix it right now, then why are you letting it ruin your day? You know, be thoughtful about what's going on, be aware, care, but you can't let it destroy you. If you want some good news, my dad had a successful quadruple bypass surgery and is recovering well. Well, fuck yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one to listen to end on. Let's end on that instead. Dog story is real as fuck. Yeah. Sadly, I'm in Chicago, so if I go outside, it's helicopters. Well, go outside with noise canceling headphones. Go outside and put on some headphones and listen to a recording of quiet. And you'll experience what it's like to not be in a city that's actively being besieged by its own government. Anyway, everybody say congrats for Nick's dad. Well done. Good job. Random and also sad, but in the next SKH, can you mention the floods in Alaska? I feel like very few know about it. Yeah, that's on my list. That's going to be in there. Yup. All right, I'm going to head out. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. This was great. I had a very, very good time. As always, I stream on Wednesdays and Fridays starting at 11 a.m. right here on wherever you're watching this currently. Will hopefully be having Stuff Keeps Happening on Monday. Hopefully there's not another problem. I can't really get into what happened, but hopefully Stuff Keeps Happening on Monday. And ultimately, hopefully you'll see some more content from me moving forward as I'm like shifting my priorities and focusing more on making content. So thank you all so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for hanging out with Dog. If you haven't yet checked out my gaming channel over on YouTube, you should check out Endeavorance Games on YouTube. YouTube.com/Endeavorance Games. There's an @ in there somewhere. Yeah, check out my gaming channel if you want more sort of like casual, just me yapping about stuff. I've got a series on there called Minecraft Sisyphus Edition, which is me attempting to beat Minecraft on hardcore despite not knowing how to do that. And every time I die, I have to start over entirely. So, rip. Thanks for hanging out. I'm a go.
Hey, it's time for
Take care. Be well. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Bye-bye.